Well, hello, fellow traveler. I'm here to give you your next 72 hours portal report. And it even came out on the split. But as I was preparing this deck, I think there's something that's about to happen in regard to an official person being ousted. Now, a while back in a portal report I brought in, it was a few weeks back, I talked about a lot of changes in the current administration here in the States, and that's definitely been playing out, but there's something coming in pretty significant because it showed up twice. The first time while I was doing the pre-shuffle, official person got thrown off of the table and landed face down, upside down. It really gave me the impression of somebody being taken out of a position of power. And on the other side of the split of that, when that card flew out, there was distant horizons. So this is something that's going on a worldwide level. I do expect there will be more shakeups. We'll see a lot shifting in terms of people who are in positions of power. It's like changing of the guard's energy. I think there will be further changes in the current administration too. And just as I was opening up to drop in for this portal report on the split, again, there was expectation with official persons. So something's going down here. Something in the next 72 hours will be starting to develop in this arena. It came in at 1:33 on the clock. So yeah, some kind of transformation happening here. There is a decision being made. I think this is something that's being deliberated right now, and there will be a solution to what's been creating holdups. There will be somebody ousted that will allow negotiations to move forward. That's what I'm hearing, okay? So let's drop into this energy. We're opening up with the Kipper deck, and the energy is coming in more grounded, more sort of dealing with the day-to-day reality as opposed to more spiritual matters. But in relation to spiritual matters, I had a wonderful experience on a walk the other day. I'll insert the photo, but I saw a tree, and I passed by this tree many, many times. And it was the first time that I ever saw the spirit of the tree, and it came through as Ganesh. So Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. And it's really interesting in that photo that on the side that Ganesh is facing, because it's got his like trunk up, and if you look closely, you'll see his eye kind of closed, and there's this smile on his face, and he looks like he's preparing to enter into a dance. And on the side he's facing, I don't know what it is because it was a clear day, but it's sort of like foggy on that side of the street. There's just sort of this haze in the energy. And on the side I was walking on, it was completely clear. So I'm taking that coming through for the collective as a message, because I get a lot of my messages for our downloads when I'm out on walks. It's when I tune into the collective energy and just sort of see what comes through. I feel like there is a situation you've been navigating. It's been a little murky. Things have been hazy. You haven't had the clarity you needed. I do feel like whatever has been causing that lack of clarity is in the process of being cleared out. Something that's been posing as somewhat of an obstacle to you being able to move forward free and clear without any kind of obstructions, just making things a lot easier. I feel like this is something that is in its final stages, and pretty soon you're going to see that your pathway forward is very clear. So I did want to bring that in because that's something that it did have a little bit more of a spiritual referential point, but largely it feels like the obstacles that you've been dealing with are related to very material things, you know, practical things that have been holding you back. And I do feel like whatever that is, whether it's time, money, resources, assistance, support, whatever you've been lacking, I feel is on the way out. And it's because of some kind of clarity coming in. Maybe it's understanding where the interference has been coming from, and that's going to allow you to make some decisive choices that will really clear out the complication and make things a lot more smoothly moving forward. Yeah, a lot more smoothly moving forward. That's how it's coming through. Just not so many oppositional forces to contend with. This could be related to a community matter, something that has been keeping things sort of held up in the South Node for quite some time. There could be more than one individual involved in this situation. That could be what's making it a little bit complicated. It's not so clean cut. You're dealing with many different opposing opinions, viewpoints, desires, clashing of wills, okay? But I do feel like it could be a whole community of people is seeing something different in relation to you too. Maybe they're seeing you more clearly. It could be somebody had sort of spun some illusions around you so people weren't seeing you accurately, and now something is being outed, something is being revealed that makes matters more clear. Well, it does look like fortunes are changing for you, and this has been coming out recently. We got great fortune coming in. Now, certainly great fortune. I mean, the piece did come in with Ganesh for a reason. You may have been lacking certain resources. You may have been feeling like you were operating at a disadvantage. When we look at 26, numerologically, we're looking at the number 8, okay? So this is something where intuitively, maybe you did feel something was off. You didn't understand, why am I being held back? I feel like I should have more options. I should have more choices. I've been working really hard. I've been minding my path. I've been doing everything I'm capable of doing. Why do I feel so impeded here? And I think intuitively you felt like something was off, like what's going on here? You may have also felt like you were in a little bit of a place of indecision, not quite sure what direction should I go, maybe not even seeing any options, feeling like you kind of just had to make do with where you're at or the circumstances you've been navigating. And I do feel like something's making this much more smoothly run moving forward here. It's not going to be sort of a stop-start kind of thing. I feel like that's the way you've been navigating something for a while. It's a few steps forward and then you kind of get held back and you have to reassess your situation and figure out, why isn't this flowing the way it needs to? That came in at 7:17 on the clock. So yeah, you're about to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. This is your chariot coming forward here. Things are going to be running a lot easier here moving forward. I also feel like you're coming into more of a position of power. You may have been operating at a disadvantage. This could be because of how community was viewing you. Maybe there was stories spun in a community about you. This caused an oppositional force of its own, you know. There's a lot of ways that speaking ill on somebody can really be a very limiting force. You know, it can really hold somebody back. And I think it's one of the greatest curses to gossip about somebody, to slander them, to spin their reputation in such a way. So I feel like something is transforming here. It does feel like there's something that has happened here where you've not been seen accurately, and probably in relation to a community of people. And I feel like whatever's happening here, it's putting you back on the right track. It's restoring your rightful position of power. And it looks like it's also leading to some kind of abundance in your life, some type of growth, because you're not held back any longer. This may be causing concern for another who's hearing about a turnabout of affairs for you. Right? It looks like you've alchemized something, you transformed something, maybe something that was meant to hold you back, and you're getting yourself free of this. It's causing concern for somebody else. It's creating some kind of instability for them to see that the tables are starting to turn for you. This is the energy I'm picking up here. Give us more details about this, Spirit. What is this coming through for the collective here? So trust your intuition, trust your instincts, even if at first you feel a little insecure about it. If you feel uncomfortable around a certain person, or you feel a little reticent about taking a particular opportunity because something just feels off, trust your instincts. I think the likelihood right now that you could have sort of false opportunities come onto your path that are meant to lead you down a garden path could come your way. All right. So just be aware of what you're picking up intuitively. It's going to be your best guide in navigating this territory, because something's obviously transforming here, and great fortunes on the horizon. I do pick up that you'll really see things starting to grow more and more as you head into the summertime. For a while now, August has been coming out as a culmination point, sort of like a checkpoint, recognizing how much things have changed, how much you're no longer at a disadvantage, how much you have opportunities that you didn't have before. It's really staying on this great fortune. So this is kind of giving me the impression that though others may have concern about this, or there may be influences coming in, trying to interrupt the flow of this great fortune coming your way, I feel like this is stuck. It's up and it's up and it's up and it's stuck. Nobody's going to be able to bring this down. I feel that. Look at this. Okay, let's do a cut of the deck. There's a main male connected to this as well. Okay, magician energy. There's some kind of regeneration here. Coming in with a pretty strong Aries signature there. This is also your ability to make something out of nothing. That is that energy of Saturn and Neptune in Aries right now. And we got a little Empress action coming in here too. So there could be a merger on the horizon. This is bringing about a significant change. This is pretty wild. So it looks like there's some cycle that is coming to a close, and it's bringing about a change in your life. There's a joining of forces here that's bringing a transformation, going to bring some kind of growth. Now, this could be a business merger. This could be just somebody joining forces with you, somebody coming onto your path, and you're going to level up together in some way. Okay, the energy is very strong. That looks good. All right, let's get some more details about this because they're being kind of quiet now. Let's check this out with my shadow light playing cards. We're going to pull out the straight shooters on this one just to get some more details about what's coming in here. So it does look like there's some kind of renewal energy, transformational energy, joining forces with somebody here. There's great fortune in this. Great fortune comes in many forms. Certainly it looks like a freeing up of some kind of material resources. But this could also be things finally getting a lot easier, finding that, you know, you have the ability to gain traction without putting forward as much intense effort as you were in the past. Sometimes just when you get your energy freed up like that, that's enough, you know? That's enough to really put a spring in your step and make you feel like you've turned a corner. And the energy has definitely been moving more into a quality of upliftment. So I hope you've been tuning into that. We're definitely heading into a light building phase, even as we're dealing with the contradiction of a lot of heavy energy going on the worldwide stage, right? But something is growing here as a result of some kind of partnering energy. It looks like it is coming through as something official. When I think of marriage, I think of something official. Now, certainly this could be a romantic relationship. This could be a little bit of a rekindled sort of vibe, you know, putting the spark back into a relationship. Having a strong united front in overcoming some opposition too, that's possible. This could have a community of people talking, wagging their tongues, okay? It could be. It could be. They may be wondering how this was possible. This could also be a business merger, some kind of opportunity. Yeah, we do see 4 of clubs coming up in the shadow here. And right behind it, wow, look at that, double 4s, 8, coming up in the light. So yeah, this might be concealed right now. You might not even think this is possible for something to spring back to life, and you might be quite surprised the way it does. Coming out with real strong Emperor energy there with that 4 energy signature. Yeah, interesting. This is something you've been waiting for, and maybe you don't even realize you've been waiting for it. Maybe you needed to be held up so you could have a fateful meeting. I see that, you know, because this is the 3 of clubs here. This is something that has been wanting to come your way for a while, but it's been held back for a long time. Yeah, been held back for a long time. Jack of Hearts. Yeah, there's something that's really been restraining this from coming into being. That's how it's being translated here. Feels like there was some restraining manipulative force that was holding this back from moving forward. Or there could have been just too many manipulative forces in a situation to contend with that were sort of capturing your attention. Something could have been really rocking your stability too, your foundation. Wow, it's coming in with fours here. 4 could be significant and something that was eroding a foundation. Might have been draining resources, preventing some kind of stability from establishing. We got triple 4s here, 4, 4, 4, angels on the outfield in relation to this. That does total 12, the 12th house. Something hidden, something that was a blind spot, something that was an oppositional force that was preventing 2 from joining forces together. I feel like this is a fateful meeting. This is coming up here. Double 3s, when we add that 12, numerologically, it's the magician to the high priestess. It creates fertility here. So this could be 2 people bringing their forces together to strike some transformation. What's on the bottom of the deck? This was restrained. Look, the 8 energy. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? But it looks like justice coming through here. And there it is again, 4 of spades in the shadow. And it comes to 12 again. There's real strong 12th house energy around this. There's been a blind spot. There's been a hidden enemy that's preventing a meeting of 2 forces that it looks like it's not going to be held back any longer. Looks like the obstacles are being cleared to this coming into... I heard connection. Okay, so it's probably just an initial connecting point. But this is something that is meant to come through. Look, there's all this 8 energy around this, man. Look at this. There's been blocked communication, blocked movement in relation to this. There's also been a lot of communication. I'm hearing whispering behind the scenes in relation to this too. And it's definitely affected reputation. Coming in with the energy of the moon, 18, in the shadow. Strong Pisces signature in relation to this. Strong. Something that's really affected the reputation. Something that was done selfishly. It was somebody's wish to create an ending here. This is what's been hidden. Certainly could be some evil eye action that's been cast on this situation to try to damage public opinion, reputation, 10th house action there. Could have affected your resources, absolutely. I feel like this is being balanced out. Somebody wanted to win. Somebody wanted to win. That they were seeing it as some kind of competition with the 6 of clubs coming out in the shadow. And with that, we got a Queen of Clubs energy. So we finally have our first official character on the board. Strong fire in this one, fire forward. They don't have to be a fire sign, but this is somebody who was using their fire in a willful way. They probably had a lot of heat they were putting on their words. They wanted to use their will to transform a situation, prevent a joining of forces, prevent a turning of the wheel of fortune here, create an ending where there was supposed to be momentum. Hold things up at the crossroads. To them, this would be wish fulfillment, to block this. 3 of diamonds in the light. Okay? Yeah, there's something about not wanting 2 people to work together. Not wanting 2 people to join their forces together, because there's something about that could be problematic for a character here. It looks like a Queen of Clubs. Okay, so using their fire to create some kind of division. Now, if this is a romantic situation, it could be somebody who was using their sensuality, probably trying to entice somebody. Could have been whispering in somebody's ears, sort of seeding dissension between two people. It's possible. On a business level, when we're looking at the clubs in terms of cartomancy, a lot of times it can deal with business affairs. So this could be a business opponent, you know? Somebody who's trying to slant your reputation in terms of your work, was operating in a way that was causing some issues. Queen of Clubs, that is a very sort of mover and shaker kind of energy, but coming in with all this shadow aspect here could also be somebody who was using their status in such a way to turn people against you, you know? Just a well-placed word here or there in the right ear could have locked doors of opportunity for you. Yeah, had people feeling a little defensive about you, not sure if they should work with you. This may have been what was sort of tethering you to that south node, preventing you from having opportunities when certain things were meant to come through. Ace of Spades. I feel like this is what's coming to a close, and now the Wheel of Fortune can turn for you. See this coming to light. Something's being seen. And this finally allows something that was held up to start to move forward. The opportunity was almost stolen from you with the Seven of Spades, but balderdash. This is not going to be held back anymore. You got a new beginning coming in here. Expect some good news to come in. This is good news. It's really going to lift your spirits. It's going to make you feel like you're finally on the other side of a rough cycle, coming in at 21:33 on the clock, 333, okay? We've got some synchronicities coming in here. You got some helpful people coming in here. Maybe they're putting you in the loop. They're letting you know what's been at work here, what's been causing problems, what's been slowing things down, okay? There's definitely been manipulation here. Now, could this be somebody who's been manipulative with their words and their connections and working the status they have to their advantage to sort of lock certain doors for you? Yeah, I could see that. But when I see the 8 of Diamonds come up in the shadow in this particular deck, it can also be spiritual work. So for those of you who know somebody who likes to cast indiscriminately, and that's what they're into, they like to engage in spiritual warfare, this certainly could be a case in relation to that. But I do think there's something you're about to discover here. The way somebody's been playing with your reputation, playing with your opportunities, playing with your life, and they're about to learn today the results of what happens when you F around like that. They're about to find out. So this is a tables turning moment here. There is something significantly shifting in this scenario. Okay, one more round with this, and I'm feeling really called to the gold foil tarot here, just to get some more details. Okay, this is coming as a crossing influence. Yeah, this has been some competitive situation. There's been competition here. There's been competition here. There's been opposition. I think you're about to figure out what's been going on. I have a sense you've already known there's been interference, that you've been picking this up. You know, I got sentience. So I have a feeling you've already had your spidey senses activated around this. But I think what's different is people who have been apprehensive about approaching you and putting you in the loop because they were swayed at one point are going to start to come towards you because they want to make things right. They want to balance things out. They're hoping that they can explain why they weren't there to support you. This may have been even people that you felt really close to with the Six of Hearts coming up in the shadow. You may have decided that you wanted to cut ties with certain people because of this. It's like, where were you when I needed you? You kind of like left me in a lurch. And I don't think you're wrong to feel like that at all. I mean, I would have some questions for these people if I were you, but you know, how you handle this is up to you. But I do see that people that maybe you haven't heard from for a long time are going to be coming around. But do be aware with the Joker here, okay? Do be aware. We do have this great fortune. Okay, looks like something's turning around for you. They know you got this opportunity coming in for you. Be aware of this with the Ace of Diamonds here in the shadow. You might want to move stealth in relation to this. I don't know if I would make any big announcements about opportunities coming your way. If you are getting a relationship on the right track, you know, if you're working through something with somebody, I would keep it under wraps. I just think that there's some opposition here that you need to be aware of. And it does look like something's coming through to get things balanced out for you that will bring you some kind of celebration. There's good news here. But especially where you got opportunities coming in relation to your business, your finances, or some kind of level up here, keep it mum, man. Yeah, keep it mum. Be discerning here with the King of Spades in the light. Be discerning, all right? This is where you really have to use your intellect. Trust your take on a situation. You should be familiar with the territory at this point. But I do see where, wow, look at that. Again, 4. There's something about 4 and there's something about 8 here. There could be a life path 4, life path 8 connected to this that's been problematic. There could be somebody that was like an oppositional force you weren't even aware of. We got the months of August, April coming in as well as December being highlighted here. So I have to look at that 12 energy too. 12th house energy. Whatever this is, it's been a karmic matter. And there was something you didn't have the full scope of. I think you intuited, but what's been missing is all of the sort of pieces of the puzzle getting lined up. And I feel like you're getting clarity here. You see, at one point, you joining forces with somebody was blocked. And now what was once severed is being mended here. Okay, so this could be somebody that you were meant to work with. This could be a business opportunity that was meant to come your way. This could be a loved one you've been distanced from because of oppositional forces, manipulation. This could be a lover, okay? Could come in many different forms. I can also see the 2 of Hearts coming through in relation to everything else that's been being presented here as an opportunity that was really meant for you. It was a turn of fortune that you should have been able to step into a long time ago, but because of all this, it was held back. But it's almost like it's coming back with collateral. It's coming in as collateral in advancement connected to it. Instead of collateral damage, it's like collateral advancement in measure to the damage that was accrued. There's something that's really balancing this out. And it's getting rooted here on a brand new foundation. It will be solid, but I think you need to keep this concealed because there are people who would like to sabotage it. I hate to say it, but this alignment is absolutely coming in with a theory of 11. There's going to be no holding this back. It's your justice, but do be aware of the territory you're going to be navigating as you come into alignment with whatever this is. Okay, it looks like it's a merger. It's a merger. There's a sense of uniting here. But again, it really is coming through that it could be uniting with an opportunity, a golden opportunity. Something, though, that might require you to really make a firm investment. You might have to like sign off on something. You might have to enter into some kind of contractual agreement. Whatever this is, it's really solid, but I would keep it to yourself. And that might be frustrating. Because I feel like with the territory you've moved through, you probably want to celebrate. But there's just something here Let it mature. That's what I'm hearing. Let it mature. Okay, let me do a cut of the deck here and see what we got. Yeah. Keep it to yourself with the 2 of spades here. You need to do this concealed. Behind the scenes, okay? Keep it to yourself because there are those who would like to block you coming into this power. You see? Look at that. King of Spades in the shadow, all right? You know what I see this as? I see this as when you come into this power, when you come into this opportunity, you're going to be so angry in relation to what was done to hold this back that your initial response may be to want to really fire off about it, you know, use your words to call people out. And I don't advise it, actually. I mean, I understand that motivation that you'd want to say your piece, but there's something about you got to look at the long game here because you could draw attention to yourself. You know, you might want to say, oh yeah, you thought you could hold me back? Well, look what's going on now. Or, you know, don't let your ego get the better of you because you're going to sabotage yourself. 31:13 on the clock. Yeah, lights out just as you're about to come into this power. Be careful with that. Right behind that, look, you got to protect this. You got to protect this. I get it. You know, the heart may feel wounded here. The heart may feel like it wants to really come off in a very, it's coming through as an aggressive way to sort of say, don't you dare, you know, come for this now. You know what I mean? But you're going to alert too many. And it's just in its beginning stages, so it's vulnerable. So keep this close to the chest, all right? If you want this to work out. Otherwise, that'll work against you, all right? Yeah, and the opportunity will be spoiled just as it's about to become a celebration. And then, once again, you'll be at the crossroads. You'll be stuck. Coming in with a 3 energy signature there, 33 specifically, you know, it does give the vibes of a choice needs to be made. What's more important? Resting in the knowledge you have or feeling like you have to make it public knowledge because you feel like your pride or your ego's on the line and you want to give people a whole mouthful of, you know, everything you have to say about what they did to cause problems for you. It's not important. Let the results speak for themselves. And that 3 energy signature, it is coming through as the Gemini energy signature. So this could be, you know, you wanting to splash something across social media or, you know, fire off some text or, yeah, just, I think it's better to keep it mum. Yeah, keep it mum because you're close. Okay, you're close. This is something coming to a culmination point. You're close. All right. But if you let everybody know that you're holding all this fire, okay, you're going to get the smoke. That's all I'm saying. And you're just at this point where things are coming in balance, so don't blow it for yourself, all right? Hold up. Just hold up. You don't need to get pulled down into any of that either. It's not important, all right? It doesn't matter. Let the results speak for themselves. Let the transformation do the talking, okay? You don't need to stoop down to the level of these other people here, whatever's been going on, all right? It's irrelevant. 33:55. I mean, come on. This is your wheel of fortune. Things are just about to turn. You're getting out of the crossroads. Yeah, you don't need to go back into this place, man. You don't. You don't need to be cast out of the kingdom just as it's starting to open its doors to you. Just be mindful of how you're moving here. Because I feel like you've been operating at a disadvantage for a while. You don't need to continue to go through that kind of terrain where you feel like you're always, you know, just outside of that door of opportunity. Just because it's opening up for you, man. Don't blow it. A lot of people do that, man. They make that mistake. And I understand it, especially if you've been dealing with unfair circumstances. But you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And it's not worth it, man. You're just about to get to the other side of a really rough cycle. You probably have already been feeling a certain momentum gathering in your life. So just be mindful of who you share your turning of fortune with. And if you do share with somebody, okay, pay attention. If you notice all of a sudden things start to slow down, well then you'll know exactly who the problem is. But I feel like, you know, sometimes you have to do that selectively. Maybe I'll just tell you a little something, and then you watch and you notice, you know, sometimes you have to do that to know who you can really count on, who will keep your confidence. That's important too. It's important to know the people that you can trust as well. So you do have people around you you can trust. Not everybody is operating on this level, but I feel like whatever. That's interesting. The way this wanted to be like this, I'm gonna take it. We'll look at that in a minute. If you want to get some cards out here, so absolutely, Chariot's arriving on the scene. And this is not something you're deciding. This is Spirit coming on through saying, no, it's your time. It's your time to move forward. Now, what is this? Your worries are over. Look at that. Your worries are over. You've been stressed out about something, wondering, how am I going to be able to navigate my future here? I don't have what I need to get where I need to go here. I feel held back. I don't know what to do to resolve this. Your worries are about to be over with whatever this is coming in. Wow. Real positive message here. This is excellent. Okay. I think that where you've been stressed out, struggling, I think you're going to find that your just soul feels more at rest. That's what I feel. Just like a weight has been taken off of your shoulders. Don't put the weight back on by, you know, blabbing about it though. Let it just slowly dawn on people. And by the time they're aware of how much you've turned a corner, you'll be firmly rooted on your new track, your new timeline, and there will be no way it can be sabotaged. Okay. And if you do have confidants that you like to share with, make sure they understand that they're to keep that confidence and not, you know, go talking about your business with anybody. And I think at this point, you know who those people are. Okay, so I certainly wouldn't be opening up to people that, you know, haven't been there for the rough stuff. And now suddenly they're back and they have a whole new perspective because they saw the light. I would just, you know, just be aware. It's not too hard to know who are your people and who need to kind of, you know, show that they're legit. And maybe they were swayed, you know, that can happen. But if that's the case, you need to give some time to play out to make sure these people are being legit with you now. And at the same time, I don't know. Me personally, if somebody was talking really badly to me about somebody that I cared about or that I wanted to connect with, I would want to have a conversation with that person myself to suss out the situation on my own. I don't take things at face value that other people say because people gossip. And yes, people are competitive and people like to sabotage things. And I always feel like you have to give people the benefit of the doubt and let somebody speak for themselves instead of somebody else, you know, doing the talking for them. So I would have a different approach with that. Yeah, be strong, okay? Be open to communication with these people coming forward. I think you overcame something that was really a limiting force in the past. You've successfully navigated something. Your worries are over. That's what I got. Your worries are over. And I think you're really going to realize it by the time we reach Leo season. There is something about August coming through really strongly as a checkpoint, just understanding how different of a position you're in. You might have recently been dealing a little bit with sort of like reverberations of the past. Maybe just old anxieties trying to get rooted back into your auric field. And it's like, nope. That's not mine. That's not my energy. Actually, I feel like there's been a lot of you that have been sleeping better lately. You've just been feeling more at ease. It's because you're already sensing this shift. I feel like you're already sensing this shift. Those of you that this message is for, you're already sensing something shifting here in a way that has your nervous system more at ease, you know? And where you do have people coming back from the past to say, hey man, you know, I wasn't seeing things accurately. They want to balance things out, and you do feel like it's worth it to balance it out with somebody. Take your time, but I would definitely say there needs to be transparency and communication, and there can't be avoidance over the rough stuff. You know, if somebody's not willing to hash it out, then I personally wouldn't waste time with that. Yeah, it does require communication, open communication to move things forward, but this is things moving forward. This has been coming in. This has been coming in. So we are getting to that point. We're getting closer. We're getting closer to that Aries new moon that's going to come in on the 17th. And once that energy lands, 17th breaks down to 8. That's go time, remember? The 19th, Wheel of Fortune. Yes, it makes perfect sense. Everything's going to move forward after the 19th, once we're out of that post-Mercury retrograde shadow, man. And this is steady flow, steady communication, opportunities that were backlogged, opportunities that were held up, communication that was blocked, maybe even some potential love offers, opportunities to get back out into the flow. If you've been single and you feel like I'm ready to mingle, this could be opportunities to connect with others on that level too. Okay, maybe do a little traveling, get out and about, back into the flow of life. It looks good. But I do see there's something here that you are healing with somebody, mending with somebody, and something will be clear to you in the way it's handled. Somebody who just wants to sweep everything under the rug and doesn't want to revisit, that's not this, whatever this is. That's not somebody you're working something out with. That's something that should put your hackles up. Okay? Because this is something that obviously requires some conscientiousness to move through it, and transparency. It's not going to be able to be navigated otherwise. But it does look like something's coming together here. So I feel like whoever this is that you're ironing something out with, on whatever level, it's somebody who's willing to go there with you. They have the strength to do it, okay? And there is something you're walking away from. Yeah, absolutely. You're walking away from this cycle that was preventing you from having the success you desired. There's something that's been held in place for far too long, where you were working so hard and pouring everything you had into it. And it's just like, it was not given back what you were giving to it. And that's what's changing here. And you're successfully stepping through that gateway of transformation. And from there, you're having a whole new view. You know, she's holding up those two batons. It's like the Two of Wands. You get to sort of make your world what you want it to be. Because the old cycle is officially over here. That's what's really ushering in with that Aries new moon. Okay, this is really good energy, man. I'm digging it. Let's do a cut of the deck here. See what we got. It's a pretty clear message. There is a star mate coming in here. Somebody that you're meant to connect with. And I mean, I do see there's been a lot of competition around this meeting of minds. Whatever this is somebody you're supposed to join forces with. It could be somebody you've had a connection with in the past. It doesn't have to be, though. This could just be somebody that really feels like, I know we're meant to connect. Like, I can feel it. There's an instant sort of connection here. We got synergy. And there is competitiveness around this for sure. I also feel like whoever this person is, you have great banter. Like, the communication is fun with this person. You're both lively spirits, you know? There's playfulness. You might like to tease each other too. I just got that. This is somebody you're going to be working with, All right, you're joining forces here. The message is really clear. It's pretty straightforward. I don't really need to dive into it any further. I feel like that's complete. I am going to go ahead and get us some numbers of synchronicity and pull out a little bit of that ERISIAN Spirit Board action, though, just to get some further details. I did separate the dice because I prefer to roll the dice separately here. And with this, I'll bring in specific signs. I'm kind of moving away from calling out signs with the tarot, unless something comes in so consistently, like the house, over and over and over again, the way that the 12th house and the 3rd house kept coming in. We had a lot of that, like 4th house energy too. Cancerian energy, Aries energy came through pretty strongly. Piscean energy, Empress energy came out quite frequently as well. Taurus, Libra. Okay, but I'm going to use the dice to sort of highlight signs that may be involved in the situation. These could be other players in the situation. This could be your sign. Try not to get too attached to the signs, ma'am, because we all exhibit all the signs at any given time. But I know people like that, so we'll bring it in. Oh, that's funny. I rolled the Shungite with the dice. Well, that's not an accident, okay? So Shungite, it really holds the energy of lightning itself. So there is something here that's a breakthrough moment. There is something here that's a little electrifying. It's shocking. It's surprising. It changes your perspective about a situation. Okay. Wow. Isn't that wild? And it's coming in with the energy of 7. So the Chariot forward. We also got 4 here, big Emperor energy. And we have 3 here, Empress energy. So this is Empress to Emperor. This is 2 that are meant to join forces. And look on the side there, we got 3. Again, this is something that's getting rooted. This is the Empress rising. This is the rebirth of Venus energy for sure. So we have strong Aries, strong Libra, Taurus, we also have Gemini energy coming through, Cancerian energy, Libra energy coming through with that 7th house action there. Again, really strong Gemini coming through on this too. We got Capricorn energy here too. Sagittarian energy in the form of Wheel of Fortune. Water sign energy coming through as well with the High Priestess signature. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is absolutely a movement forward, not being held back any longer. So we're racing forward here. And it's really funny because I went to get some more ginger and I found another one of those ginger roots that come through where it looks like a person. Remember the other one? It was like wide open, rushing forward. Well, here it's open too, but it's really wild because right there in the center of the heart space, there's a keyhole. And look, there's 2 dots underneath it. I thought that was so interesting. So I'm going to do something special with this one here for new moon myself. But there is something here that's like freeing your heart. It's letting you come more into your heart. Just really feeling fulfilled. It's also the path of heart. And yeah, I think this is something that you're going to feel very in sync with. It's going to feel intuitively like, yes, this is correct. And it's wild. Look at this, because on the side of that man rushing forward, we look and add that in and it comes to 3 again. Real strong Gemini energy coming through here too. And it really is about the choice. So I feel like a choice is going to be so crystal clear here. You could say, yeah, Gemini coming in with that Magician as well. It's real strong Gemini energy. There's communication involved in this, all right, for sure. And there's a choice being made. And it brings about alignment. Brings about alignment. It's a lucky cycle too. It's good. It's good. I like that. Okay. All right. Let's get the letter dice out and see what other messages want to come through. Oh, no, that's interesting. Those are kind of piled up there. I'll just kind of brush them off like that. All right. We got SOS coming out. Last time that SOS message came out, there was a pretty dismal situation with some skiers that were sending out an SOS that got caught in an avalanche. So we could be hearing some situation where there's in need of search and rescue coming in here. Coming in with SS here, so it could involve Navy, could involve a ship, could be something connected to the Strait of Hormuz coming in there. You know, we always get the worldwide stuff that comes in relation to this. I got something coming in around ley lines, so you might be noticing a lot of interesting, people call it supernatural or paranormal activity. It's actually not. It's energy that's always in the earth. It's been there since the dawn of time. It's just becoming more aware of it. And there's certain places you can go where there's ley lines that really amplify that activity. Sedona, Arizona is such a place. I can tell you that on the Sonoma coast, Goat Rock and Ocean Cove are two places where there's a lot of ley line activity. But this could be being out and about and noticing when you're in nature, you're finding more experiences where you feel really tapped in, where you're getting some kind of otherworldly activity coming through. I got Virginia coming in relation to this, but I mean, it's the first thing I thought of because I've been watching the Appalachia series that Yasko's been putting out, which has been awesome. So if you haven't checked that out, you should check out Yasko's challenge. Yasko's challenge. Okay. Interesting. Okay, maybe there's something Yasko's going to be putting out with a challenge for exploring the Appalachia territory. Again, he recently just put out a video the other day. He went up there alone. Normally he goes with other people. He went up to the Appalachians by himself. I was like, you're nuts, dude. I would never. I would actually be more concerned, to be honest with you, about, you know, the people up there that are creeping around those woods than I would be any kind of supernatural activity or running into cryptids. You know, that's not what would concern me. Actually, not at all. I'd be far more concerned about seedy characters. Okay, I don't know. There could be something about that coming through. You know, be aware if you're out camping. If you go to a place where you're feeling a lot of sort of like frenetic activity, you might want to bail out if you start feeling a little bit on edge, okay? Trust your instincts. I don't know why that's coming through, but I do feel like there's a reason why it came in, okay? More news coming out of DC, more announcements coming in. Obviously, there's just been so much coming through. I do have Beirut coming out here too, okay? So yeah, naturally that's in relation to the whole, you know, ceasefire propaganda. I'm just going to call it what it is. You know, there's a lot going on right now. As much as you can, you might want to wean yourself off of following, you know, all of that too closely, because so much of it is manipulated. Any kind of news we're getting about what's going on with the war, you know, through our media outlets. We're not getting full details here, okay? All right, let's see. Anything else that wants to come through? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. That feels pretty clear. I think we're going to cap it off with that. I don't want to tap in. I could probably go off and tap into a lot of the worldwide stuff. I don't really want to. I think I brought in enough around that. I do see San Francisco out here as I'm bringing this in, so there could be some kind of news, something going down in San Francisco that might make national headlines there, okay, just because we were talking about the news. And be on the lookout for something in relation to that. But other than that, I don't want to tap into a lot of that energy. It's just been feeling so good, and it's a nice reprieve. Oh, and this was off to the side, cast aside. Got the letter L here. Letter L, okay? So there could be somebody with L as an initial in their name, somebody you know that you've been away from for a while, or has been kind of, you know, out of the loop for a while, that might be coming in. You might be hearing news at a distance from this individual, right? Yeah, that's what I got. All right. In general, real good, real solid read. Some funky energy out there, but I think you can kind of like let your guard down a little bit, let some of this good stuff in, because it does look like you got some fun on the horizon here. And where you can find fun, take that in for all it's worth, man, because it's what helps you get through the difficult stuff. And we need to try to get our sights focused on what does sort of like lift our spirits as much as possible, looking for those pockets of resilient beauty where they can be found, right? Okay, go out, have some fun, look for things to start to lighten up. Looks like you're getting to the other side, something rough, and I'm really happy for all of us. I think we're all ready for that. All right, Godspeed.